I guess my take is, at the end of the day, you can't control the weather. Climate change must be real now. It's just something we can't control. It actually plays quite an interesting dynamic in the game of cricket. So even when there is a bit of weather around, you still have to, try to account for that as a tactic. Generally, when it rains, you try to, win and toss and bowl and have a bit more of an idea of how many you're chasing and duck with Lewis and that sort of thing. So that's sort of the main focus when there is weather around. Obviously, we can't control it. And if they, decide that playing undercover at some stage is going to be beneficial to play more cricket during the same time, then that's up to people with higher pay grade than me.
Just talking about your own personal form as well, coming from the World Cup, you bowled brilliantly in the World Cup. You and Santner were a great combination. Do you think world cricket has come to a stage where it just becomes a no-brainer to include a leg spinner in the 11 now, and because they offer that attacking option?
Yeah, look, I think, I'm all for aggressive bowlers in attacks, whether it's, we're really blessed at the moment to have 150-kilometre-an-hour bowlers like Adam Milne and Lockie Ferguson, and they're supplemented with some really old, great old heads with great experience that, might not have as much pace, but they're really wily with their variations. And obviously Mitch Santner at the other end is incredibly economical on the best of days, and so the role that fits in for me is the aggressive one. And I think if you look across the board internationally, a lot of teams are including leg spinners in their side, probably because they can turn the ball both ways and offer a bit of mystery, especially under lights. I think they can be quite hard to pick. So I think they're very important weapons, and I'm really biased. I love leg spin bowlers, and really enjoy watching how far it's come over the past 10 to 12 years, and it's really fascinating how far it can go.
Last one from me. Obviously, having to adjust from the big grounds of Australia to the smaller ones in New Zealand, always challenging. But how difficult is it for a leg spinner like you to, adjust your length and get your angles of your fielders right and all of that? How much does that play a role?
Yeah, I think that's not just a leg spin thing. I think that's a bowler thing in general in New Zealand. It's a really unique place to play cricket. It's actually quite similar dimensions to the Adelaide Oval in Wellington, and also in Napier, where we'll play the third game of this series. So yeah, it's quite a different dynamic. I know early in my career I tried to bowl here like I would in club cricket, nice and straight, and try to turn the ball where the wickets don't turn a hell of a lot. But it was actually like a lot of conversations with Mitch Santner. If you watch him bowl in these conditions, I think he's really wily with his lines, his lengths, changes his pace, bowls the ball to get cut now and then for one to get the in batters on off strike. And I think that's a really important way to play your cricket in New Zealand as a bowler. And I think it's a tactic that we've used pretty well over the years, and hopefully comes into play in this series as well.
Ish, coming back to the Rahul's questions on weather, what is the kind of mindset of the players in the dressing room, especially when obviously there was a rain forecast 24 hours back, they knew that this is going to happen. So how do you motivate yourself? You come to the ground knowing that, okay, this match is not going to take place, and then you think about the fans.
Yeah, look, obviously everyone would love to play, and having the weather around is just an unfortunate thing, but you've got to come prepared to play. I've played a lot of cricket now, and there's times where there's a bit of rain around, but then somehow magically at 9:30 p.m. the rain goes away and you have to prepare to play a 5-over game, and that's always a very intense game, and if you get a chance to get out there and play, well, it goes a long way to you if you can get over the line to win a series. So it's very important that you're always motivated, and it's easy to be motivated when a team like India come across. I think the buzz here is incredible. Obviously being Indian born, I think it's obviously really special playing against India from my adopted nation. I absolutely love playing for New Zealand, and getting a chance to do it against my birth nation, I think is really exciting.
So in that sense, I'm just asking that question. Like in a short series like this, where the team is either playing one day, traveling next day, so really there are no reserve days, unlike the big games in the World Cup. Do you think that maybe administrator can plan slightly better, considering the fact so many fans have invested money, time, energy, all that? Is that something can be looked at?
Yeah, look, to be honest, I haven't really looked into the schedules a hell of a lot, but it feels like the last wee while we've condensed a lot of cricket into a short space of time. And whether that's something to do with having COVID and having missed out on a lot of cricket, I think first and foremost we're just really excited to be playing the amount of cricket that we're playing. Having missed out on quite a few series in the last couple of years, it's obviously been quite challenging. As a cricketer, all you want to do is play, and you feel like those couple of years you may have lost a few games that you potentially would have played. So, if we can sneak a as much cricket in as we can. I think it's really great, and I think outside of that, it's just up to management and players to be able to manage their workload. And we're fortunate these days to have quite a lot of depth in our side, and also a lot of international teams have incredible amount of depth. So I think support staff and players and associations are finding time for some of those players to rest, going into big events and things like that. So I think that's become a really important part of the game.
You should mention the buzz of an India tour, like even tonight, despite the rain, there's still a lot of people in the crowd, a lot of noise there. Can you just sort of sum that up for people who aren't here, and how much, I suppose, the players feel that and enjoy it?
Oh, it's such a great cultural experience, Cricket is just so massive in India, as well documented, and if you watch the IPL or obviously growing up with an Indian family, like how much it means to Indians to watch Indian cricket play, and so to be part of that as a spectacle is really exciting as a player, no matter who you're playing for. And the buzz around it's fantastic. I know that we've got a sellout at Mount Maunganui, which is really exciting. It's a great ground. There'll be the bank out there, so hopefully the weather can stay away and we'll get a good game of cricket there, because there's obviously a lot of Indian support. Sometimes it feels like there's a home game for them, but it just shows the great amount of passion that the game brings them, and we're really welcoming of that too.
Yeah, Bay Oval ground, you know pretty well. You're from the home ground as well. What is it like, I suppose, for you going back there and bowling there as a spinner? It's one of the probably bigger grounds we've got.
Yeah, that's right. I was discussing that with a few of the teammates today. I think back in the day we'd say it was a reasonably big ground, but these days, if I can clear the ropes there batting at 8 and 9, well then, the top 6 I don't think we'll have many issues doing that. So, yeah, it's just unique. I think, playing T20 cricket in New Zealand is a completely different dynamic, I'd say, from other places around the world. And the boundary sizes and dimensions, I think, definitely play a bit of a role into your tactical thinking. Mount Maunganui is slightly bigger, so that's exciting, and the wicket can be quite nice as well. So, yeah, we'll just have to adjust to that, probably starting tomorrow, because a lot of our thinking had gone into these short square boundaries in Wellington, and unfortunately we couldn't get a game tonight.
Just lastly, on Mount Maunganui, for our friends who haven't been there before, apart from the cricket ground, what's that like as a destination?
Oh, it is a destination to go and visit. When the weather's nice, I don't think there's many places in New Zealand that are as picturesque. The water's beautiful. If you want to get out there and get into the ocean, if you can manage to get out on a boat and go fishing, highly recommend it. Got a few contacts if you want to come by and go king fishing or something like that. It's just a really nice place to be, and I know the boys really enjoy playing cricket there, and it's home for a lot of them too. So along with the busy schedule, it's nice for a few of the boys to be able to get home and see their families and spend some time hopefully in the sun.
Awesome. Thanks for your time, Ash. Cheers everyone.